So today let us start with this topic. Yeah, electrode potential. So you need to understand this thing. In order to understand the further topics, okay, you need to understand this term electrode potential. Fine. So in the last class we saw that. Okay, in the last class we saw that in a typical galvanic cell. Okay, in a typical galvanic cell or a voltaic cell. Okay, there are two types. There are two types of half cells. One on the left hand side where oxidation occurs, which is known as the anode, and on the right hand side where reduction occurs and which is known as the cathode. Fine. Now see, once more, let us discuss the activities which takes place at the anode. Fine. So at anode, what happens is oxidation takes place at the anode half cell. What will occur? Oxidation occurs at the anode half cell. Fine. So we had zinc out here. Okay, and we had zinc ions out here. So at anode, what is the reaction which occurs? Zinc, okay, goes into the solution as zinc dipositive ion, leaving behind two electrons. So this was the reaction which was taking place at the anode half cell. If you remember, this was the reaction which was taking place at the anode half cell. Okay. So as a result, what happens? Zinc constantly moves into the solution as zinc dipositive ions. So the concentration of zinc ions in the solution increases. As zinc gets converted into zinc ion, the concentration of zinc ion in the solution will increase. And what happens to these electrons which are liberated out here? These electrons accumulate at the surface of the electrode like this. Okay, that is why this anode acquires a negative charge. This anode acquires a negative charge. So as the cell reaction progresses, as the cell reaction goes on, okay, as the cell reaction goes on, what will happen? There will be a separation of charges between the electrode and its ions in the solution. Okay, the solution will constantly acquire a positive charge and the electrode will acquire a negative charge. And we know whenever there is a difference in charges, a potential difference will be created. Okay, a potential difference will be created. So yeah, how is a potential difference created? Due to the separation of charges. How are the charges separated? Okay, due to this reaction which occurs. So as a result of this reaction, the concentration of positive ion in the solution increases and the negative ion, okay, the negative charge on the electrode will also increase. So this leads to a creation of potential difference between the electrode and the solution. And this potential difference which is created is known as the electrode potential. So what is electrode potential? So electrode potential can be defined as the potential difference, okay, as a result of, as a result of what? Separation of charges, as a result of separation of charges between the electrode and its ions in solution. So this is the definition of a electrode potential. So electrode potential is defined as the potential difference, okay, which is created as a result of separation of charges between the electrode and its ions in solution. Right? Similarly, at the cathode, what will happen? The solution will occur excess negative charge and the electrode will occur a positive charge. Okay, so there also a electrode potential is created. So we say there is an electrode, a potential difference is created at the anode as well as in the cathode compartment. Fine. So there are two kinds of electrode potentials. Okay, here we shall discuss two kinds of electrode potential. And by the way, the symbol of electrode potential is capital E. The symbol of electrode potential is capital E. Okay, so capital E signifies your electrode potential. Fine. The electrode potential is denoted by capital E. Okay. Now let us see the categories of your electrode potential out there. What are the two types of electrode potentials? Okay. So electrode potential actually are of two types. Okay. So remember, again, I'm insisting, what happens at the anode? The anode constantly loses electron, oxidation occurs. And the cathode, what happens at the cathode? The cathode constantly, what? It gains electron. It gains electron. Fine. So reduction occurs at the cathode and oxidation occurs at the anode. So electrode potentials are of two types. So one type of electrode potential is known as a oxidation potential. It is known as a oxidation potential. Fine. And the other is known as a reduction potential. The other is known as a reduction potential. Okay, so there are two types of electrode potential. One is known as a oxidation potential and the other is known as a reduction potential. Now you tell me one thing, if I take a copper electrode, if I take a zinc electrode, if I take a silver electrode, whatever electrode, if I take electrodes of different metals, will they have the same tendency to lose electron or will they have the same tendency to gain electron? Yes, what will be your answer? So if you take silver electrode, if you take copper electrode, if you take zinc electrode, if you take iron electrode, will they have the same tendency to lose or gain electron? Or will they have different tendencies to lose and gain electron? What will be your answer? Do all the metals have the same tendency to undergo oxidation? Do all the metals have the same tendency to lose electron? Obviously, the answer is no. Okay, the tendency to lose electron, the tendency to gain electron, it depends upon the nature of metal. So some metals, they can undergo oxidation easily, while there are some metals such as gold, okay, there are some elements such as carbon, which does not have the tendency to either gain or lose electron. They are quite ignorant. Fine. So what does this oxidation potential measure? Okay, so let us again suppose that we have a metal M, okay, it loses n number of electron and acquires a charge Mn positive. So what does this oxidation potential measure? Okay, what is the information given by this oxidation potential? This oxidation potential, now it is denoted by E. It is denoted by E. Okay, so the process we are talking about oxidation potential. What is undergoing oxidation to what? M is undergoing oxidation to Mn positive. So this denotes your oxidation potential. The oxidation potential of M to undergo oxidation to Mn positive. Okay, so this is the complete symbol of your oxidation potential. This is the complete symbol of your oxidation potential. And remember, okay, so I'll just make it clear out here. I'll just make it clear out here. So the electrode potential is measured by, is symbolized by E. Okay, so when the electrode potentials are measured under standard conditions, okay, when the electrode potentials, when the electrode potentials, when the electrode potentials, when the electrode potentials are measured under,
Sir,
yes,
sir, Eliza waiting room में.
Where is Eliza? Okay, so fine, chalo likh लो. So when the electrode potentials are measured under standard conditions, okay, so likh लो, when the electrode potentials are measured under standard conditions. So please write it down, when the electrode potentials are measured under standard conditions. Okay, so what do you mean by standard condition? Standard condition means the temperature has to be 298 Kelvin. Okay, the concentration of ions has to be 1 mole per liter or 1 molar. Okay, the concentration of ions which you take has to be 1 mole per liter. And if there are gases, the pressure of the gases has to be 1 bar. Fine. So when you measure the electrode potentials under these conditions, when the electrode potentials are measured under these conditions, what are the conditions? A temperature of 298 Kelvin, a concentration of ions should be 1 mole per liter, or rather we can write this as 1 molar. And if there are gases, the pressure of the gases should be 1 bar. So the electrode potential measured under these conditions are known as your standard electrode potentials. It is known as your standard electrode potentials. These are known as your standard electrode potentials. Fine. So what is the difference between electrode potentials and standard electrode potentials? Whenever you measure the electrode potentials under standard conditions, under these conditions, it is known as a standard electrode potential. Fine. And this standard electrode potential is denoted by E naught, or E naught with a cross like this. So whenever you see this symbol E naught, what does it reflect? It reflects a standard electrode potential. It measures a standard electrode potential. Matlab electrode potential measured under this condition. Right? So here, if I write down E naught out here, what does it state? So this is a standard electrode potential of this particular electrode. Fine. Now let us come back to the point. So where is Eliza? Okay, fine. So what does this oxidation potential or standard oxidation potential measure then? Okay, so I'll just add the term out here. Oxidation potential. The oxidation potential measures the tendency of an element to undergo oxidation. Okay, so what does the value of standard electrode potential measure? So from the values of standard oxidation potential, we can have an idea about the tendency of an element to undergo oxidation. We can have an idea about the tendency of an element to undergo oxidation. Fine. Okay. So next, higher the standard oxidation potential, higher the tendency to undergo oxidation. So higher the tendency, so higher the standard oxidation potential value, okay, higher the tendency to undergo oxidation. Simple. What does the standard oxidation potential measure? It measures the tendency to undergo oxidation. So higher the standard oxidation potential value, higher the tendency to undergo oxidation. Higher the tendency to undergo oxidation. So let me just explain this with the help of some examples. Okay, let me just explain this with the help of some examples. So, say suppose I have an electrode A, it undergoes oxidation. Fine. So how will I denote the standard oxidation potential? E naught, A undergoing oxidation to A naught. Suppose its value is 1.0 volt. I'm giving you one arbitrary value. Okay, suppose the value is 1.0 volt. Fine. Then I have, say, another electrode B. It undergoes oxidation by losing 2 electrons, say. So what is the symbol of oxidation potential? B undergoing oxidation to B dipole. Suppose its value is 0.36 volt again. So I have X It's undergoing oxidation to X positive by losing an electron. Suppose its value is 2.1 volt. Okay, so what does this signify? A positive oxidation. So this is the standard oxidation potential of A. This is the standard oxidation potential of B. This is the standard oxidation potential of X. Now you tell me, just by looking at the values, which of these three electrodes has a higher tendency to undergo oxidation? Out of these three electrodes, which electrode has a higher tendency to undergo oxidation? Tell me. Out of these three electrodes, which electrode has a higher tendency to undergo oxidation? A, B, or X? What do you need to do? You just need to compare the oxidation potential values. Okay, so which one has the highest oxidation potential value among these three? I think it's X. So X has the highest tendency to undergo oxidation since its oxidation potential value is highest among the three, followed by A, followed by B. Okay, so which has the highest tendency to undergo oxidation? Which of these electrode has the highest tendency to undergo oxidation? Can be easily found out by comparing the oxidation potential values like this. Higher the oxidation potential value, higher the to undergo oxidation. Fine. And now tell me, which one will act as the strongest reducing agent? Which will act as the strongest reducing agent? Pratik, what is the answer? What is the reducing agent, by the way? What is the reducing agent? The one which undergoes, yes, the one which undergoes oxidation. So X has the highest tendency to undergo oxidation. Yes, exactly. X has the highest tendency to undergo oxidation. So X will behave as a strongest reducing agent. Okay. So here X will behave as a strongest reducing agent. It will behave as a strongest reducing agent. Okay. So by comparing the standard oxidation potential values, we can get an idea about the tendency of an element to undergo oxidation. We can have an idea, we can get an idea about the tendency of an element to undergo oxidation. Is it clear? Now, similarly, now you tell me, what do you mean by a standard reduction potential then? Write it on your own now. What do you mean by a standard reduction potential? What does it measure? It measures the tendency of an element to undergo reduction. And we know reduction is just the opposite of oxidation. Okay, we know reduction is the opposite of oxidation. Okay, so now how will I write down the reaction? How will I write down the same reaction now? So I'll just reverse the reaction. So Mn positive, if it gains n number of electron, it gets reduces to n. There is a reduction. And what is the standard reduction potential given by? It's given by E naught. What is undergoing reduction to what? Mn positive is getting reduced to N. So this is a symbol of standard reduction potential. This is a symbol of standard reduction potential. Okay. So now you tell me, what does this standard reduction potential give us? It measures the tendency of an element to undergo. Similarly, it measures the tendency of an element to undergo reduction. It measures the tendency of an element to undergo reduction. Fine. Similarly, higher the standard reduction potential, higher the standard reduction potential, okay, higher the tendency to undergo reduction. Okay, so just by comparing the reduction potential value, we can compare the tendency of an element to undergo reduction. Now let us change these into reduction. Let us change this into reduction. Okay, I'll write down the opposite reactions now. I'll just write down the opposite reactions. Now you tell me the value. So here the reaction I'll consider is A positive plus electron. It gives us A. Fine. Here B di positive, 2 electrons, gives us B. Here X monopositive plus electron gives us X. So how will I write down the reduction potential? Here A positive is undergoing reduction to A. Here B di positive is undergoing reduction to B. And X positive is undergoing reduction to X, like this. So what will be the standard reduction potential value of this electrode A? What is going to be the value? It's just the opposite of oxidation potential. If someone tell me what will be the value? The value will remain the same, just the sign will change. It will be minus 1.0. The oxidation potential was 1, so reduction potential will be minus 1. The oxidation potential was 0.36, the reduction potential will be minus. The oxidation potential was 2.1, the reduction potential will be minus. Fine, so the values will remain the same, just the symbol will change because oxidation and reduction, they are just opposite of one another. Now again you tell me, which one has the highest tendency to undergo reduction among these three?
So B.
Okay, now we have to compare the values. So I think minus 0.36 is the highest value. Okay, fine. So which one has the highest tendency to undergo reduction? Which one has
B
the highest
dipositive.
tendency? So yes, here B dye positive, we see that B dye positive has the highest reduction potential value. So B dye positive has the highest tendency to undergo reduction, followed by A positive, followed by X positive. So it's very simple concept. So just by looking at the oxidation potential and reduction potential values, just by looking at the oxidation potential and the reduction potential values, we can compare the tendency to undergo oxidation and reduction. So here, the reduction potential of B dye positive is highest. So among all these ions, which has the highest tendency to undergo reduction, here the answer will be B dye positive has the highest tendency to undergo reduction. So now tell me, which behaves as the strongest oxidizing agent?
B dipositive.
B dye positive. Okay, B dye positive behaves as a strongest. The one which has the highest tendency to undergo reduction behaves as the strongest oxidizing agent. It behaves as the strongest oxidizing agent. Fine. So you need to understand this concept. You need to understand this concept. Fine. Now, B dye positive behaves as the strongest oxidizing agent. Now, again, you tell me which behaves as the weakest oxidizing agent out here. Which will behave as the weakest oxidizing agent?
X monopositive.
Hmm?
X positive, sir.
X positive. That means it behaves as the weakest oxidizing agent means alternatively we can say that it behaves as the strongest reducing agent. Okay, so please note it down. Please note it down. This has come many times in your board. Okay, it's a very easy concept. So please note it down. So लिख लो. Okay, so more negative. So write it down. More negative the standard, fine, reduction potential value, more will be the strength as a reducing agent. Fine. So more negative the value of standard reduction potential, more negative the value of standard reduction potential, greater will be the strength as a reducing agent. Okay, so in this particular example, which has the highest negative value of standard reduction potential? Which one had the highest negative value of standard reduction potential? Most negative value kiska tha? In the previous example. Which has the highest negative value of standard reduction potential? A, B or A? A. A. So which will be as the strongest reducing agent then?
X, sir.
X. So X had the most negative value of standard reduction potential. That means X positive will behave as a strongest reducing agent. Fine. So please remember this fact. Okay. So more negative the standard reduction potential value, more will be the strength as a reducing agent. More will be the strength as a reducing agent. Fine. Now the problem is there are two electrode potentials. Fine, we have understood both. Okay, there is on the one hand there is a standard oxidation potential, on the other hand there is a standard reduction potential. Okay, but the values given might be confused whether it is of standard oxidation potential or whether it is of standard reduction potential. So in order to remove this confusion, okay, there is a convention. Okay, it's a convention that whatever formulas we'll be using, whatever numericals we'll be dealing with, okay, from now onwards, we'll be using only standard reduction potential values, not the oxidation potential. You can forget about the standard oxidation potential. So whatever formulas we'll be using, okay, we'll be using the standard reduction potential values. Okay, and it's very easy to change oxidation potential into reduction potential. Okay, just the values will remain the same, so only the sign will change. If it is plus, it will be minus, and vice versa. Okay, fine. Now, so now we have studied that there are two half cells. There are two half cells like this. Okay, so the electrode potential on the left hand side is known as a standard oxidation potential. That on the right hand side is known as a standard reduction potential. Okay, so here there is excess of negative charge out here. Here there is excess of positive charge. So here again there is a difference of charges between the two half cells. There is a difference in charges between the two half cells. Again, when there is a difference of charges, a potential difference will arise. Okay, so this potential difference which arises between the two electrodes. Okay, the potential difference which arises between the two electrodes as a difference of charges is known as here. This is known as your cell potential, or this is also known as your EMF, electromotive force. Okay, so electrode potential means potential difference between the electrode and its ions. That's electrode potential. Okay, and cell potential means the potential difference between the two half cells like this. This is known as your cell potential or EMF. Okay, and what is the symbol? Yes, the symbol is E cell, cell potential. Or if I write down E naught cell, what does this denote? This denotes standard cell potential or standard EMF of the cell. Okay, standard EMF again means the EMF when measured under your standard conditions. The EMF measured under your standard conditions. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the formula for calculating the standard cell potential? What is the formula for calculating the standard cell potential? Now, just pay attention. Okay, so what is the formula? Now, see. The standard cell potential, E naught cell, the formula is E naught cathode, fine, E naught cathode minus E naught anode. So this is the formula for calculating the E naught cell and not E cell. Right? I'm not talking about E cell. Here I'm talking about E naught cell. And just now I told you all the formulas will be expressed in terms of reduction potential. So what is E naught cathode? This is the standard what? Oxidation and reduction potential. This is the standard reduction potential. This is the standard reduction potential of cathode. This is the standard reduction potential of cathode like this. Okay, and what is here E naught anode then? This is the standard again reduction potential of anode. So all the formulas we'll be dealing with now shall be expressed in terms of reduction potential, not oxidation potential. So this is the simple formula which we shall use to calculate the EMF or standard EMF of the cell. Okay, so this is the formula we'll be using, E naught cathode minus E naught anode, where both E naught cathode and E naught anode are the standard reduction potential of cathode and standard reduction potential of anode. Fine. Okay. Now the problem is, how are we going to calculate the standard reduction potential? How are we going to calculate the standard reduction potential? Fine. So once more, I'm going to draw a simple diagram like this. Once more. So I have a anode out here. Fine. And I have a cathode out here. Fine. These are connected with the help of a voltmeter like this, externally by a wire. So this is the anode part and this is the cathode part. Now, suppose I want to measure the reduction potential of this particular electrode A. I want to measure the standard reduction potential of this electrode. I want to measure this value. I want to measure this value of this particular electrode. How do I measure them? Okay, so what is the technique for measuring the standard reduction potential? The problem is a half cell cannot work on its own. That means if I just try to measure the oxidation or reduction potential value of this half cell, then it is not possible to do so. Why? Because a half cell cannot work on its own. A half cell cannot work on its own. So the absolute value of standard reduction potential or this absolute value of electrode potential cannot be measured. Why? Because a half cell cannot work on its own. If I just place this half cell out here and if I just try to measure the reduction potential with the help of some voltmeter, okay, it's not possible to do so because this will not work on its own. Okay, in order to work, this must be coupled with another half cell. This must be connected to another half cell. Now the problem is, fine, I identified the problem. What is the problem? A half cell cannot work on its own. So, okay, what's the issue then? I'll connect this with another half cell. I'll connect this with another half cell like this. So now, okay, the voltmeter reading gives us the value of E naught cell. Now, again, the problem which arises is, in order to measure the reduction potential of this particular electrode, you have to couple this with another electrode. So, which electrode are you going to take? That's the issue. So here, if I take the electrode as iron, or if I take the electrode as copper, if I take the electrode as zinc, if I take the electrode as silver, okay, so say this electrode I'm coupling this with iron electrode, this electrode I'm coupling this with copper electrode, or if I couple this with zinc electrode, or if I couple this with silver electrode. Now you tell me, if I couple this particular electrode with different electrodes, will I get the same value of reduction potential of this electrode, or will the values depend upon the nature of this electrode? What is the answer? Will I get the same values? What do you think? In order to get the reduction potential of this particular electrode, I must couple this with another electrode. But now again the problem is, which electrode will you couple with? Because if I couple with different electrodes, I'll be getting different values. If I couple with iron, I'll be getting a value of this reduction potential. Okay, if I couple this with copper, I'll be getting a different value. If I couple this with zinc, I'll be getting a different value. So, in order to eliminate this problem, in order to solve this problem, what do we do? In order to get the reduction potential values, in order to get the standard reduction potential values, a half cell is coupled or connected with a common reference electrode. All the half cells are connected with a common reference electrode, and the reference electrode which is usually used, the reference electrode which is usually used to measure the electrode potential is known as a standard hydrogen electrode. Now whatever electrode potentials will be measuring, it will be with respect to a reference electrode. And what is that reference electrode? That reference electrode which is usually used is known as a standard hydrogen electrode. It is known as a standard hydrogen electrode. Please let me know if it is not understood. Okay, it's also abbreviated as SHE. Okay, now whatever values, whatever reduction potentials values will be measuring, whatever electrodes. Say if you are asked to measure the reduction potential of zinc, if you are asked to measure the reduction potential of copper, if you are asked to measure the reduction potential of silver electrode, what do? You couple all these electrode with respect to a reference electrode. What is the reference electrode used? Standard hydrogen electrode. Fine, it's abbreviated as SHIT. So what does a standard hydrogen electrode look like then? Okay, so you should understand this, right? So diagram is really simple. So it somewhat looks like this. Okay, so there is an inlet from which hydrogen gas is bubbled at the pressure of 1 bar. Hydrogen gas is bubbled at the pressure of 1 bar. And we have a platinum electrode out here. The electrode is made up of platinum. The electrode is made up of platinum. Fine? And this whole setup is immersed, this whole setup is immersed in a HCl solution. It is immersed in a HCl solution where the concentration of these H positive ions is 1 molar. Okay, what is the concentration of HCl taken out here? It's 1 molar always. So you bubble hydrogen gas. So what will happen to this hydrogen gas which is bubbled? It will be adsorbed on the surface of the platinum like this. It will be adsorbed on the surface of the platinum. So we say that in a standard hydrogen electrode, the hydrogen gas is in contact with the hydrogen ions, which is at a concentration of 1 molar. So this is what a standard hydrogen electrode looks like. So hydrogen gas at a pressure of 1 bar, it is in contact with hydrogen ions, which is at a concentration of 1 molar. Now let us express the electrode reaction which takes place out here. Fine. So if this behaves as an anode, what will happen out here? Oxidation or reduction. If standard hydrogen electrode behaves as an anode, what will happen out here? Oxidation or reduction? Yes, tell me. If it behaves as an anode, if standard hydrogen electrode behaves as an anode, what will occur at the standard hydrogen electrode? Oxidation or reduction? Again, same thing, Lone.
So oxidation.
Oxidation means loss of electron. So how will I express the reaction? H2, fine. It will be converted into 2H positive ion by losing how many electron? By losing 2 electron. Or if I wish to, you can add on the reaction like this as well. Half H2 gives us H positive plus a single electron like this. So what will be the oxidation potential now? E naught H2 undergoing oxidation to H positive. Okay, H2 undergoing oxidation to H positive. And remember, it's a convention that the standard oxidation potential or reduction potential of standard hydrogen electrode is taken to be 0 volt. So what is the value of standard reduction potential of hydrogen electrode? What is the value? Very easy. It's 0 volt. It's a convention. Fine. Now, if it behaves as a cathode, then it may behave as an anode, it may behave as a cathode as well. So if it behaves as a cathode, what will be the cell reaction now? It will just be the opposite. So what will be the reaction? H positive plus electron gives us half H2. So this will be the cell reaction. Why? If it behaves as a cathode, reduction will occur. And what will be the reduction potential? E naught. How will you express? H positive oblique H2. Again, what will be the value? 0 volt. Again, the value will be 0 volt. Again, the value will be 0 volt like this. The value will be 0 volt. Fine. So, what is the story? What is the thing? We studied electrode potential. Okay. And we also said that a half cell cannot work on its own. Since a half cell cannot work on its own, the absolute value of standard electrode potential cannot be determined. So in order to determine the electrode potential of a particular electrode, it must be coupled with another electrode. Okay. And in order to calculate, in order to measure the electrode potential, what do? We take a common electrode with respect to which we measure the electrode potentials of all the electrodes. And what is that reference electrode taken? It's standard hydrogen electrode. All the other electrodes are also used. Okay, in our syllabus there is just a standard hydrogen electrode. So standard hydrogen electrode looks like this. Hydrogen gas is bubbled at the pressure of 1 bar. A platinum electrode is used. Okay, and we have a HCl solution whose concentration is 1 molar. So we say that hydrogen gas is in contact with its own ions, which is at a concentration of 1 molar. And it's a convention that the standard oxidation potential or the standard reduction potential of hydrogen electrode is equal to 0 volt. Okay. Now, if the question comes, how will you measure the reduction potential value of zinc electrode? How will you measure the reduction potential value of zinc electrode? So, what will you do? You'll couple the zinc electrode with what? You'll complete the cell by coupling the zinc electrode with what? You'll complete the cell by coupling the zinc electrode with respect to a standard hydrogen electrode. Okay, so there are some few questions, okay, which have come in the past year. So just let us discuss those. Okay, so just write down one question. Okay, so determine, or how will you determine the standard reduction potential of zinc electrode? Okay, how will you determine the standard reduction potential of zinc electrode? Now guys, tell me, what are you supposed to do? We are supposed to determine the reduction potential of this zinc electrode. Fine, we have a zinc electrode. We have a zinc electrode out here. So till now, I don't know which one is the cathode, which one is the anode. Okay, so I have no idea which one is the anode, which one is the cathode. So I have a voltmeter out here. Now I couple this with a standard hydrogen electrode like this. I couple this with a standard hydrogen electrode. Fine. So from here I pass hydrogen gas at a pressure of 1 bar. What do? I take a platinum electrode out here. I take a platinum electrode. So here I have zinc ions. And here I have H positive ions. Yeah, I have H positive ions. Okay, again, hydrogen gas is in contact with H positive ions, again, which is at a concentration of 1 molar. Fine. So this voltmeter, from the voltmeter reading, I can get the value of E cell. From the voltmeter reading, I can get the value of E cell. The voltmeter gives us the value of E cell. And remember one thing which we are discussed in the last class. What is the direction of flow of electrons? Yes, someone tell me. What is the direction of flow of electrons?
Anode to cathode.
You should remember this. Okay, from anode to cathode. From anode to cathode. And what is the direction of flow of current? Flow of current, it is just the opposite. It's just the opposite. And remember, the voltmeter shows a deflection towards flow of current. A voltmeter shows a deflection towards the flow of current, which we have already discussed in the previous class. Okay, so if the voltmeter is deflecting in this direction, means current is flowing in this direction. That means this is the cathode, this is the anode. If it is showing a deflection in this direction, means the current is flowing in this direction. Okay, so these are things we should know. Okay, now the voltmeter shows a potential difference. Okay, the voltmeter shows a potential difference of 0.76 volt. Bus. You should remember this value. Okay. So what is the voltmeter reading for a zinc electrode? It is 0.76 volt when it is coupled with the standard hydrogen electrode. Okay. And the voltmeter again shows a deflection towards zinc electrode. Now you tell me. So what is the deflection of your voltmeter? It shows a deflection towards your zinc electrode. Means current is flowing towards the zinc. Current is flowing towards the zinc electrode. Now you tell me which one is the anode and which one is the cathode. The voltmeter from the experiment, it is seen that the voltmeter shows a deflection towards your zinc electrode. Now you tell me, okay, so now we know current is flowing in this direction towards zinc. So which one is the cathode and which one is the anode now? The voltmeter is showing a, yes, tell me. So it follows that.
The standard hydrogen electrode is cathode and the zinc electrode is anode.
Yes. So the standard hydrogen electrode acts as a cathode. It acts as a cathode, and zinc electrode acts as an anode. So these are the things which you should remember. So what is the first thing you should remember? The value of cell potential, 0.76 volt. And when zinc electrode is coupled with a standard hydrogen electrode, remember, okay, your current flows from standard hydrogen electrode to zinc electrode, means standard hydrogen electrode is the cathode and your zinc electrode is the anode. Till it's okay? Now I'll apply the formula. Fine. Now I'm going to apply the formula now. Okay. So what is the formula for calculating the E naught cell? Tell me. What was the formula? The formula for calculating the E naught cell was E naught cathode minus E naught anode. This was the formula. Okay. So E naught cell. So which will behave as a cathode out here? Which will behave as a cathode? Your standard hydrogen electrode behaves as a cathode. Yes, standard hydrogen electrode acts as a cathode. Okay, and which will behave as an anode? Your zinc electrode will behave as an anode. So please note down, here I am expressing the reduction potential of cathode and reduction potential of anode. Okay, so I already told you this is the reduction potential of cathode, this is the reduction potential of anode. So what is the value of this cell potential? What is the value? 0.76. What is the value of the standard hydrogen electrode? It's what? 0 minus E naught. So therefore, the standard reduction potential value of zinc electrode is found to be minus 0.76 volt. Got it? So these are a few things which you should remember. So in this way, we can find out the standard reduction potential of all the metals by coupling with a standard hydrogen electrode. So there are two questions which usually comes in your board. One is here, determine the standard reduction potential of zinc electrode. This value should be remembered. Next is, how will you determine the standard reduction potential of copper electrode? So quickly I'll move to the topic. Okay, again, same thing. Here, the voltmeter, just two values needs to be remembered. The voltmeter shows the potential difference of now, not 0.76, 0.34 volt now. It shows a potential difference of 0.34 volt. I'm talking about copper electrode now. and diagram will be same. Here, the voltmeter now shows a deflection towards your standard hydrogen electrode. Just the opposite. Now you tell me. The voltmeter shows a deflection towards standard hydrogen electrode. Okay, that means current. What is the direction of flow of current? Where is the current flowing? Towards the standard hydrogen electrode or towards the copper electrode now? The voltmeter shows a deflection towards standard hydrogen electrode. So where does the current flow? Towards the standard hydrogen electrode or towards the copper electrode now?
Towards
The
standard
voltmeter shows a
hydrogen
deflection
electrode.
towards flow of current. Yes, yes, yes. Don't get confused. Huh? Voltmeter shows a deflection towards the flow of current. Current जहां पर flow होगा voltmeter वही direction में deflect करेगा. So voltmeter is showing a deflection towards SHE, means current is flowing towards. Now current is flowing towards, in this case, the current is flowing towards your standard hydrogen electrode. From where? From your copper electrode. That means in this case, copper electrode will behave as a cathode and standard hydrogen electrode will behave as a anode. Okay. Fine. So in this case, SHE acts as an anode. It acts as an anode and copper electrode acts as a cathode. It acts as a cathode. Just you need to remember these experimental things. So in case of zinc electrode, zinc behaves as an anode. In case of copper electrode, okay, copper behaves as a cathode. It's easy. In case of copper, C, copper behaves as a cathode. You'll never forget it. In case of copper electrode, copper behaves as a cathode, CC. Copper electrode behaves as a cathode, SHE acts as an anode. Fine, try to remember in this way. Copper behaves as a cathode, zinc behaves as an anode. Now again, E naught cell, what is the value of E naught cell? The value of E naught cell is 0.34. So now what will behave as an anode and what will behave as a cathode? What is the anode out here? The anode out here is your standard hydrogen electrode, and what is the cathode? Copper electrode. So here E naught cathode means electrode reduction potential of copper electrode minus reduction potential of hydrogen electrode out. Is it understood? Because here copper electrode behaves as a cathode. So now let me put down the values out here. Let me put down the values. Let me put down the values. So E naught. What is the value of hydrogen electrode? Standard reduction potential 0. So therefore, your standard reduction potential of copper electrode is equal to plus 0.34 volt. So now we have an idea. Okay, now we have an idea. Now we have an idea how we measure the standard reduction potentials of all the electrodes by coupling with a reference electrode. And for your exam purpose, you need to remember the procedure and the values for zinc electrode and copper electrode. And I told you easy method. If you are using copper electrode, copper behaves as a cathode. Remember in that way. Okay. So in this way, by using this particular formula, the electrode potentials of almost all the metals are determined. The electrode potentials of all the metals are determined. With respect to which electrode? With respect to a standard hydrogen electrode. Okay. And the reduction potential values, the different reduction potential values are now arranged. The reduction potential values of metals are now arranged in increasing or decreasing values. And a series is obtained known as a electrochemical series. It's known as an electrochemical series. So what is an electrochemical series? The arrangement of standard reduction potentials of electrodes in decreasing or increasing order is known as a electrochemical series. It is known as a electrochemical series. So if you just go through your NCERT, if you just go through your NCERT, you'll get a page. Okay, so like this. So are you being able to see? Look at the page. Okay, so just look at the page here. What has been done? The reduction potential of all the metals are shown out here. And look at the value of reduction potential values of hydrogen. It's somewhere in the middle. It's 0. Look at the reduction potential value of zinc. It's minus 0.76. Look at the reduction potential value of copper. It is plus 0.34. You just go through this page. Okay, and you don't need to remember the values. Right? No need to remember the values. Only for copper and zinc, you try to remember. Hydrogen ka 0 hoga. So this series which is obtained is known as a electrochemical series. So from the electrochemical series, we can get the reduction potential value of any electrodes. Okay, we can get the reduction potential value of any electrodes. Okay. So what is the use of this electrochemical series? Fine, we have measured the standard reduction potential value with reference to hydrogen electrode. Now we know all the values. These values has been arranged in increasing or decreasing order. We get a series known as a electrochemical series. So now we shall study what are the applications. What are the applications of this electrochemical series? So very important topic. Okay, what are the application of this electrochemical series? So number one application of this electrochemical series is it helps us to distinguish between, okay, it helps us to distinguish between anode and cathode. Just pay attention for a minute. Okay, so this concept will be crystal clear, and you need to have a crystal clear concept as well. Right? Fine. Now I'll start with a question. Calculate the standard cell potential. Okay, calculate the standard cell potential, and it's given the standard reduction potential of zinc electrode. Yes, what is the value? Minus 0.76 volt. It is given. Copper electrode, what is the value? Plus 0.34 volt. Okay. Achha. Someone please tell me what is the formula you will be using to calculate the standard reduction standard electrode potential or standard cell potential. Sorry, what is the formula you will be using to calculate the E0 cell? Yes. E0 cell will be equal to what? What is the formula you will be using?
E0 cathode minus E0 anode.
Okay, fine. E0 cathode minus E0 anode. Once more, I'm telling you, these are the reduction potential value of cathode and anode. Okay, these are the reduction potential value. Now, just by looking at these values, can you predict now which one is a cathode and which one is an anode? Can you predict by looking at the values which one acts as a cathode and which one will act as an anode? So the values of reduction potential of zinc is minus 0.76. The value of reduction potential of copper is plus 0.34 volt. Fine, look at the values. Reduction potential value of copper is 0.34 plus reduction potential value of zinc is minus 0.76. Now, tell me, which one has a higher reduction potential value? Which one has a higher reduction potential value out of these two? Yes, yes, please tell me. Which one has a higher reduction potential value? One has minus 0.76, copper has plus 0.34. So which one has a higher reduction potential value? Obviously, copper has a higher reduction potential value. Means which one has a higher tendency to undergo reduction then. Okay, the one which has higher reduction potential value has a higher tendency to undergo reduction. Since the reduction potential value of copper is higher, copper has a higher tendency to undergo reduction. Fine. And where does reduction take place? Anode or cathode? Where does reduction occur? Anode or cathode?
Cathode.
Cathode. So since copper has a higher tendency to undergo reduction, okay, since copper has a higher tendency to undergo reduction, this copper electrode will behave as a cathode. Fine. So just by comparing the values like this, just by comparing the values, okay, we can easily predict which one will behave as a cathode and which one will behave as an anode. Again, once more, just look at the values. Which one has a higher reduction potential value? Copper. That means copper has a higher tendency to undergo reduction, and reduction takes place at the cathode. So that means copper will behave as a cathode and zinc will behave as an anode now. Simple. So the one with higher reduction potential value has a higher tendency to undergo reduction, and reduction takes place at the cathode. This is how you link. You don't need to memorize anything. Fine. So now what will be the reduction potential value? So what will behave as a cathode now? What will behave as a cathode? Your copper electrode will behave as a cathode. And what will behave as an anode here? Your zinc will behave as an anode. Fine. Now what is the value of copper? Plus 0.34 minus zinc electrode minus 0.76 volt. So what is the answer? 1.10 volt. So our answer is 1.10 volt. So in this way, just by comparing the values, we can easily predict which one will behave as a cathode and which one will behave as a anode. Okay, which one will behave as a cathode and which one will behave as a anode. Fine. Okay, so let me give you one more example. Try to do this on your own now. Try to do this on your own. So I'll give you an example. Nickel dipositive oblique nickel. Okay, now I'll give you one hydrogen electrode out here. Okay, so one is a nickel electrode, the other one is a hydrogen electrode. Now you predict which one will behave as a cathode and which will behave as an anode. So
hydrogen is cathode, nickel is anode.
Yes, exactly. The reduction potential of hydrogen electrode is greater. That means hydrogen electrode has a higher tendency to undergo reduction. And reduction always occurs at the cathode. So this particular will behave as a cathode and this will behave as a anode out here. Simple. So what is the reduction potential value of cathode? 0 minus what is the reduction potential value of anode? Minus 0.25. So our answer will be plus 0.25 volt. Now is it understood, guys? Is it clear? Is it clear to all of you? So from the electrochemical series, if the reduction potential values of two electrodes are given, then we can easily predict which one will behave as a cathode and which one is going to behave as an anode in this simple way. Okay, it's too easy. It's very simple. There should not be any confusion out here. Okay. So this is the first application of your electrochemical series. It helps us to distinguish between your anode and your cathode in this way by comparing the values. Okay. So let us now quickly move towards the second application. Let us move towards the second application. Okay. So second application is to predict the feasibility of a reaction, to predict the feasibility of a reaction. Feasibility means whether a reaction can occur or not, whether a reaction can take place or not. Okay, feasibility means whether a particular reaction can take place or not. Okay. Okay, so feasibility means to predict whether a particular reaction can occur or not. Okay, so let me start with a question. Let me start with a question. Can you store iron to sulfate in a vessel made of, okay, can you store iron sulfate in a vessel made of copper? Okay, so it's given, no need to worry about these values. The reduction potential value of iron is given out to be minus 0.44 volt, minus 0.44 volt, and the reduction potential value of copper electrode it's plus 0.34 volt. So this is the question. Answer. So can you store ferrous sulfate in a vessel made of copper? Okay. So I'll ask you a simple question. Can you store sulfuric acid in a vessel made of copper? So, or can you store sulfuric acid, Kong sulfuric acid in a vessel made of zinc? Can you store sulfuric acid in a vessel made of zinc? What will be the answer? Forget about electrochemistry. Okay, whatever little chemistry we know, answer me. Can you store Kong sulfuric acid in a vessel made of zinc? Yes or no? स्टोर कर पाओगे सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड जिंक वेसल में? Yes, the answer will be no. Why no? Because sulfuric acid reacts with zinc. So if sulfuric acid reacts with zinc, then how you can store sulfuric acid in a vessel made of zinc? You cannot store it. So when can you store something? You can store, okay, whenever the two components do not react with each other. Okay, so what is being asked indirectly is, here it is being asked that, does iron sulfate react with copper? If it reacts with copper, then you cannot store. If it does not react with copper, then it can be stored. Okay, so another use of this electrochemical series is to predict the feasibility. And remember, if E naught cell is positive, the reaction is feasible. The reaction will occur. Okay, if the value of E naught cell is positive, the reaction is feasible. And if E naught cell is negative, the reaction is not feasible. The reaction will not occur. So please note down these 2 points. So what are the 2 points? From the values of this standard cell potential, we can easily predict whether the reaction will occur or not. Okay, if the standard cell potential is positive, the reaction is going to be feasible, means the reaction will occur. And if the value of standard cell potential is negative, the reaction is not possible. The reaction will not occur. And how do you calculate this E naught cell? Again, E naught cathode minus E naught anode. Fine. So let us just write down these 2 points. Now, again, let us come back to the previous discussion. I'm just going to rub this off. Okay, so if E naught cell is positive, yes, the reaction will occur, feasible. If E naught cell is negative, the reaction will not occur. So here it is being asked indirectly. Can you store iron sulfate in a vessel made of copper? Means you are being asked indirectly whether iron sulfate will react with copper or not. Fine. And if it does react, what will be the reaction? What will be the predicted reaction? Iron to sulfate means we have which ions out here? We have Fe positive. Iron to sulfate means forget about the sulfate. I'm just writing the iron part, metal part, Fe positive. So it is being asked that whether this particular reaction, whether these two will react with each other, whether this redox reaction will take place or not. And if this redox reaction does take place, tell me what is going to be the product? What will be the product? What will be the product? Fe positive plus copper. It's a redox reaction. So this will gain electron, 2 electron, this will lose electron. So what is going to be the product? The product is going to be copper dipositive plus Fe. So one will undergo reduction, the other will undergo oxidation out. So you are being indirectly asked whether this reaction takes place or not. And now listen very carefully. If this reaction does take place, then what is happening to copper? It is undergoing oxidation or reduction. It is undergoing oxidation or reduction. If this reaction does take place, concentrate on this reaction. If this reaction does take place, what is happening to copper? There is an increase in oxidation number. It is undergoing oxidation. So it behaves as an anode. It behaves as an anode. Oxidation occurs at the anode. And what is happening to iron? The oxidation number is changing from plus to 0. Decrease or a, so reduction occurs. So this will behave as a cathode. So some students might be confused out here. Eh? Some students might be confused. It's obvious to get confused. Okay. Now you don't look at the values out here because you are being asked whether this reaction takes place or not. You are being asked whether this reaction takes place or not. And if this reaction does take place, if this reaction does occur, then copper has to behave as an anode and iron has to behave as a cathode. Okay. Now let me calculate the E naught cell. E naught cell equals to E naught cathode minus E naught anode. Right? Now which will behave as a cathode? Which is behaving as a cathode? Iron. What is the value? Minus 0.44 volt. Fine. And which is behaving as an anode? Copper. What is the value? 0.34 volt. So what is the answer? Minus 0.78 volt. The answer will be in minus. So since E naught cell is negative, the above reaction does not occur. The above reaction does not occur. Okay, if the reaction does not occur, can you store iron sulfate in copper? Yes, the answer will be yes. So iron sulfate, okay, ferrous sulfate can be stored in copper vessel. It can be stored in a copper vessel. That means iron sulfate can be stored in a copper vessel. So what is the question out here again? Same question. Can you store iron sulfate in a vessel made of zinc? So what are you being asked indirectly? You are being asked indirectly whether reaction between iron to ferrous iron and zinc will occur or not. So if the reaction does occur, what will be the reaction? Cell reaction, redox reaction. We have Fe positive. If it does react with zinc, what is going to be the product? Fe plus zinc dipositive. Fine. So you are being asked whether this reaction occurs or not. Iron 2 means Fe dipositive, reacts with zinc. If it does react, the redox reaction is going to be this. So what is happening to the oxidation number of zinc? Again, it is increasing. It is undergoing oxidation. It is undergoing oxidation. That means it behaves as an anode. Oxidation occurs at the anode alone. What is happening to the oxidation number of iron? It is decreasing. So your reduction is taking place. So it is behaves as a cathode. So the concept is, if this reaction does occur, then zinc will behave as an anode and iron will behave as a cathode. Now let me substitute the values now. Which electrode will behave as a cathode? Iron. So what is the reduction potential value of iron? Minus 0.44. Minus, what will behave as an anode? Zinc. What is the reduction potential value? Minus 0.76. So here, be careful. Minus will become plus. Minus will become plus. So plus 0.76 minus 0.44. So what is the answer? Our answer will be plus 0.32 volt. Our answer will be plus 0.32 volt. So what is the conclusion? Since E0 cell is positive, the above reaction takes place. So if the reaction takes place, can you store iron in a vessel made of zinc? So the answer will be no. Okay. So ferrous sulfate cannot be stored in a zinc vessel. It cannot be stored because they will react. If we store it, it will react. So you can easily predict the feasibility of a reaction. You can easily predict whether a reaction occurs or not just by calculating the standard cell potential. If the cell potential is positive, the reaction takes place, so you cannot store. If the cell potential is negative, the reaction does not take place, so you can easily store. So it's quite a simple thing. It's quite a simple thing. Fine. So this is the second applications of your electrochemical series. So the last one, we can also predict whether a metal can displace hydrogen from acid or not. We can also predict whether a particular metal can displace hydrogen gas from an acid or not. Okay. So we can also predict whether a metal can displace hydrogen gas or liberate hydrogen gas from acids. Okay. So an acid means in a solution we have H positive ion. Suppose we have a metal. So we are trying to predict whether this reaction will occur or not. Okay, what is M? M is a metal. Okay, and there is a acid. An acid is denoted by H positive ion. Suppose there are n number of H positive ions. There are n number of H positive ions. Fine. So we are predicting whether this metal will liberate hydrogen gas or not. Okay, so if it liberates hydrogen gas, what will happen? It will get reduced to Mn positive and this number of hydrogen gas will be liberated. So we are trying to predict whether this particular reaction will occur or not. So if this reaction does occur, the metal will have to behave as an anode. Since oxidation is occurring out here, there's an increase in oxidation number. And this hydrogen, it will behave as a cathode since reduction is taking place. Fine. Now again, I'll use the same concept, E naught cell. E naught cathode minus E naught anode. So what is the reduction potential value of cathode? Hydrogen electrode? 0. Now see, if the reduction potential value of metal is negative, if the value of reduction potential value of this metal is negative, what will be the value of E naught cell then? Shall predict. Tell me. So this is the formula. The reduction potential of hydrogen is 0, we know, minus E naught A. So I'm telling you, if the reduction potential value of this anode, okay, this will behave as an anode. Eh? If the reduction potential value of this anode is negative, what will be the value of E naught cell? Yes, Pratyek, what will be the value of E naught cell?
Positive.
Yes, I'm asking you, if the value of this E naught anode, this will behave as an anode, eh? This will behave as an anode. If this value is negative, then our answer will come in positive. Yes. So then E naught cell will be positive. Positive means this reaction will occur. That means hydrogen will be liberated. Hydrogen will be liberated. But if E naught is positive, okay, let us suppose that this value is positive. This value is positive. What will be the value of E naught cell then? If this is positive, what will be the value of E naught cell? Positive into negative. What will be the value? Negative. Fine. Then here E naught cell will be negative. That means hydrogen gas will not be liberated. It will not be liberated. So what is the conclusion? Those metals which has negative reduction potential value, or only those metals whose standard reduction potential values are less than that of hydrogen, will be able to liberate hydrogen gas. So in a nutshell, in a conclusion, we can say that those metals having negative reduction potential values, those metals which have negative reduction potential values can liberate hydrogen gas. Those metals which has positive reduction potential value will not be able to liberate hydrogen gas. For example, yes, copper cannot liberate because its reduction potential is plus 0.34. So we can conclude that, okay, just write it down. Only those metals which have negative reduction potential value, only those metals which has negative reduction potential value can liberate hydrogen gas from acids. Okay, can liberate hydrogen gas from acids. So H positive, it denotes an acid. Eh? While those metals which have positive reduction potential value will not be able to liberate hydrogen gas. Logic, E naught negative आया तो E naught cell positive होगा, means this reaction will occur. If E naught cathode, if E naught anode is positive, here E naught cell will be negative, means this reaction will not occur. Okay. So once again, let us have a look at the reduction potential value from the electrochemical series. Now you look carefully out here. You look carefully out here. We have hydrogen out here. We have hydrogen out here. And we have hydrogen out here. So look at the reduction potential values of all the elements of hydrogen. It's negative, I suppose. That means all those elements can liberate hydrogen gas. Whereas the values below hydrogen, it's all positive. That means they are not able to liberate hydrogen gas. Fine. So we can say that the metals lying above hydrogen in the electrochemical series, the metals lying above hydrogen in the electrochemical series can liberate hydrogen from acids. Whereas the metals lying below hydrogen in the electrochemical series, they will not be able to liberate hydrogen gas since they have positive reduction potential values. Fine. So I think this is understood. So these are the three major applications of your electrochemical series. These are the three major applications of your electrochemical series.